fishing.
Some him and and then I'm gonna have her go downstairs.
Get in the corner.
Oh, by the way, I bought 6, 7, and 8 episodes of Minecraft. Now it's
On my account or your account?
Mine.
I love to say, how do you light up mine?
Right here.
And I finished episode 6 last night, and I got like 1/4 of the way through episode 7. Ladies, calm down. This is not a cat fight.
Right here.
Get out of here, Cole.
I'll show you.
Hey, you're not part of this.
Perfect.
I'll shove this down your throat.
You need to go to the admin. Come on. You need to get my arm.
I forgot the card. When I got home, I pulled it out. I forgot the card's name. The names of the cards that I was supposed to do today, I forgot the names.
Got the names?
I don't know.
Did you get a picture?
How they do it. Was it homework or did you do that?
I think you said it was.
I'm just done.
Maybe you give us a because I forgot the names.
Weird, because I watched yesterday's video and never saw anything.
Alright, hey, let's take a seat. Take a seat, please. Okay. What we're doing today, we're going to continue on with that idea that we started just the other day with finding like the actual numbers. How do you come sit over here? That'd be great.
Yeah, where are you going?
So the idea is finding out like how far the range of a car actually is and where you can go. Okay. So for instance, what we talked about yesterday is we talked about the Chevy. Was it Chevy Bolt or Bolt? What did we figure out?
I forgot the names.
And then there's a Tesla.
Yeah, so we talked about the Chevy Bolt or Bolt, whatever you want to call it. They have two cars. I forget which one's the full electric, but what we talked about yesterday is like that car had a range of like a total of 230 miles. Pure electric, no gas. And what we talked about is if you were to leave Garner, how far could you travel in that car? Like what cities could you eventually get to? Like the range, the farthest away you could go. And how we did that problem, how we use this, is we use that same fraction we did the other day. It was that proportion, that 7.5 inches on your map is 2,441 miles. Okay? So that was the fraction we used. And what we did is we put the 230 miles on the bottom, and what you were supposed to do is you were supposed to find the top number. Now, why we put the 230 on the bottom? The miles go across from each other. The inches will be across. So what this will do, if you cross, multiply, and divide, we figured out yesterday that this number was going to be roughly like 0.71 inches. Now, why that's important? If you know that it's 0.71 inches on a ruler, you can measure with a ruler. You put the ruler down on the paper. You measure, 0.75 of an inch this way, 0.75 of an inch this way, 0.75 of an inch this way, and this way. And eventually, what you do is you draw a circle connecting all those farthest locations, and this gives you a range of what cities you can drive to in that car without having to fill or without having to recharge. So I think what we talked about yesterday was like your maximum range to get you to Madison, to get you to Omaha, Lincoln area, not quite Kansas City. Kansas City was out of range. It was like Davenport area, like that was close. Not Chicago. Chicago's too far. We could cover Minneapolis for sure, but we could almost make it to Duluth. But these were the big cities you were supposed to make it to. Like those were the biggest cities on that circle. Okay, so that's the idea. Okay, today I want to continue with that and make sure you have some time, because I know yesterday I gave you 3 challenge questions. Okay, there were challenges for what city could you attempt to make it to, like in a major city, by driving certain electric cars. Now, we're still going to use the same fraction, this fraction, but here's here is your challenge question. Okay, let me,
They're all
yep, they're all Tesla models. So you kind of had to get a range, so you had to do some research online, figure out how far that particular vehicle could travel, or the maximum range it could go. Because on the online, it gives you kind of a hypothetical range where it can travel. But here's your 3 challenge questions. Number 1. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to find the city or cities that you can travel to. So what cities can you travel to? All right, so here's the idea. You're going to start in Detroit, so that's where you have to start on your map, and figure out where you could travel if you were driving in a Tesla Model X. So what you had to do first, you had to go online, research how far that Model X could drive on an electric. Start with Detroit, do your little fraction over there to figure out how many inches you can travel, and you had to actually draw on your map around that city, wherever Detroit's at, to figure out what major cities could you hit. Okay? That car, I believe, can go more than 230 miles. There's a certain range there. The second challenge question was to start in Orlando. You had to figure out where that's at. And what you're going to be driving on this one is a Tesla Model 3. So Tesla Model 3. And this is the car that comes out in like December. And they have a hypothetical range that car can travel. It's different than the Model X. Model X, I think, is their top of the line model. Okay? And then number 3, you're going to start in Reno. You're going to start in Reno. And you're going to travel in a Tesla. You're going to travel in a Tesla Model S. And again, you're getting a hypothetical range. Your goal today is to draw on those maps and figure out what city or cities you can go to. So you need a ruler. So rulers are over there. Looks like some of you have already picked up a ruler. Now, what I'm also going to give you today, if you need it, I'm going to let you use a compass. Now, why this is important, compasses can draw perfect circles. So if you know like where Garner's at, and you can measure like what 0.75 an inch, and again, how you open these, use a little gear, opens and closes them. And when you put it down, then what you can do is you can spin a perfect circle around that thing, so you have a perfect circle. But you need to measure with a ruler to figure out what width to set it at. Okay? So I'm going to give you these today. Your goal on your maps are to figure out the major cities. And then we're going to turn that in. I want this done, hopefully, before we go to lunch. Okay? Alright, so here we go. Let's get that down.
The only thing that gets me is 0.8 centimeters.
0.8 inches?
Yeah.
Well, that means it's almost a full inch. I would say it's 0.75 of an inch. So that's
Actually,
their
it's 0.88. It showed up 0.876.
So 0.88. So I would say, it's in that range where if you pick an inch or maybe 3/4 of an inch, you'll be in the ballpark. Gives me kind of an idea of what cities you can. All right. So go ahead, start working on those. I want to see what cities you can hypothetically get to. Now again, you should have your map out in front of you if you have not received a map. Maybe you were gone yesterday. You need one.
Oh, for sure. I won't be here Friday.
Okay. Tomorrow we're just doing some already.
Need your computers, alright?
What was that?
Need your computers.
Yeah, you'll need your computers for this because you definitely need to research like how far that Tesla, that car, can actually travel. You need to know that number. Don't help out your partner on that. Or somebody in the room, don't help them with that range. They have to research it themselves. But again, this is how you're doing it. You got to figure out the range that car can travel. That way you can do this proportion to see how far you want to travel on your grid. But then again, you've got to find the city. You got to know where those cities are. And I want to know what were the major cities you're going to hit. Okay? just give me the top number. Use that top number when you're doing it. Be in the general ballpark. Give me some major cities you're going to eventually hit. me the major cities that you could potentially have. There could be a bunch, but give me the big cities. And again, this is a ballpark, because obviously the compass isn't perfect, and you're kind of guesstimating where the number's at.
If you get done early, if you already have it done, you have your cities picked out, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go online, once you get time, and I want you to find your favorite car. Your favorite car. I want you to research it. I want everything about that car. So after lunch, we're going to talk about it. Everyone's going to have their own car. So find it, go online, I want to see pictures, I want to see. It's fine. Give me any car that you like. I didn't limit you. I'm giving you no limits to this. Very open-ended. I want your favorite car vehicle. It can be anything that you can potentially drive that is road legal. That people are like, oh, I'm a big army tank. It doesn't work. It's got to be something legit.
What about a tank? What about a tank?
They're legal, but I'm talking about civilians, not service personnel. So I want to know everything about that car. I need to know every detail about it. So that way after lunch, we're going to talk about your car versus these cars that I mentioned. Lunch about 3 minutes.
What's the way through Model Tesla, the Tesla Model 3 road?
Stuff across.
Google Maps that take us so.
Those be the fun. We're going to pick their own car. go to lunch. We'll come back. We'll finish this up. Then we're going to talk about the fun stuff. Yeah, I know. Especially when it's like in between.
Yeah.
And like that first inch, the marker's all messed up because that stupid single. Yep.
Yeah.
Alright. Okay, make sure you find your car. I need to know everything about your particular car. Everything. Not just the model, but like everything about it. Fuel economy, size tank, power, whatever you got.
Hey, Cole.
I'm not knowing.
Look at this, dude.
I know how.
Support 100 club.
Alan's good.
Yeah, dude.
Oh.
Hey, skinny little man. Look at me.
I can't. Go.
And then we got Cole over here. Come.
Oh, was
Good. I will put your Good.
You already know what's
I
gonna
was
happen.
thinking.
You already know what's gonna happen.
Tell me what you do. Create my own sport truck. Why?
Yeah.
You don't want to do that good. Huh? Okay.
All right. So hey, make sure that you're going online. You got to finish up this problem with your Tesla. Remember, I want those 3 on a piece of paper. You can put them right on the graph paper because you have to draw the little circle. What cities you're going to hit. Now, yesterday, remember, we did those 6 problems yesterday where you had to find the distance between cities. I put that on the board. It was like Tuesday we put that on the board. So that was one we were finishing yesterday. That also has to be on paper because I'm going to be taking those. So those are the ones. They're online if you want to go check those problems out. But again, I'm going to give you an example of what I was talking about with this idea of picking your own car. I'm going to give the idea, and I'm going to show you the map here. I'm going to put up the map that you guys have because I do want to discuss it because I think it's interesting. Everyone's got their own opinion of a car, but they never really think about like the economics of it. The purpose of having different vehicles and that suit your need. So I'm going to show you an example of my car that I'm going to pick, and we'll kind of walk through the economics of it. So, all right. Hopefully it pops up here.
White transplant will come.
My map. Where's my map? Ah, there's the map. All right. Okay, so let me flip a picture of my car here. All right, this will work. All right, so here's my car. I'll give you an example of mine. All right, so what you're looking at, a Ferrari 488. My favorite car in the world. I love it. Just came out. Looks gorgeous. Super fast. And it's actually a comfort to drive it. So, all right, but this problem with this car, gas range, power, fuel efficiency. A lot of people don't do that. They want exotic cars. This car gets like 7 miles per gallon, right? It's a race car. It's got twin turbos. It doesn't go very far. Okay, so here's the idea. The fuel tank on this car is a 20-gallon tank, right? It's a typical gallon for a race car. But it gets 7 miles per gallon. 7 miles per gallon if you're driving it, right? That means if I want to know like my range that I can go on this car by knowing what the size of the tank is, knowing the fuel efficiency, and that's a regular fuel efficiency. I know it can go higher or lower depending on how you drive. But all you do is you multiply these two numbers together. And this gives me the hypothetical range of how far I can drive. This is how far I can drive in a Ferrari 488 before it runs out of fuel. Drive 140 miles. And that's being like perfectly driving. No accelerating too fast, no braking too fast. It's going smooth. Okay? That's not very good. So, I'm going to give you this idea. So, 140 miles times the 7.5 divided by 2,441. And this will give me how far away from, Mason City or Garner, Iowa, or wherever you want to start. It can give you the hypothetical how far I want to drive. Now, to give you an idea, before, we were going out this far when we had that Chevy Bolt. Right, this is the Chevy Bolt. That was 239 miles. That was about 0.75 of an inch. Okay, my Ferrari can get me right about here. Not quite to Minneapolis. I can get to Des Moines. Des Moines is fine. I just made it to Des Moines. I can get to the border of Wisconsin and Iowa. I get to almost Davenport, maybe. That's close. And I can't even make it to St. Paul, so I'm going to have to fuel up in, Albert Lee, and I can go further. So this gives you a hypothetical. Most people would never think about that. That's how far I can travel. Okay, not very far. Compared to the Chevy Bolt, and that's not even a great electric car. That's just a car that has, 230 miles of range. Okay? So that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about your specific vehicle that you have. So, I'm going to walk around the room, and I want to see kind of what car you pick. So, Sean, we're going to start with you. What kind of vehicle did you pick?
I picked the Ford F-150.
Okay, all right. Nice vehicle. Let's type it up. All right. Ford F-150. All right, so here we go. Okay, so the Ford F-150 are the brand new ones. Now, okay, as you can see, this vehicle gets way better gas mileage than a Ferrari. Okay, it gets 19 city, 26 miles on the highway per gallon of gas. Okay, now the fuel tank efficiency, it depends on what size of F-150 you buy. Let's just pick the high end. Let's say you get the biggest tank you can get. Okay, the biggest tank, and you're going on the highway. So what you do is you multiply these numbers together, and that gives you how far, in theory, your F-150 can drive. So 26 times 36. So we do that, that's 6, carry a 3, 12, 15, guard dog, that's 18, carry 1, 7. Your vehicle can travel as a 3, 1, 930 miles. Not bad. Not bad at all for a truck. Okay? Much better than a Ferrari, much better than the electric car. Now, obviously, it costs money to do that. It costs money to build the electric car as well, but it's pennies on the dollar versus your 36 gallons of gas that you're covering, right? 36 gallons of gas. What is gas going for right now? $2 roughly?
$2.09.
$2? So $72 worth of gas? So $72, you can get 930 miles. That's a pretty good range. Let's go back to this picture. Let's go back to this picture of what 930 miles would be. Okay? So I'm going to give you a hypothetical what 930 miles is. So 930 times the 7.5 divided by the 2441 can get me about 2, almost 3 inches on this map. And if I use a ruler, so here's my ruler. I'm going to go 3 inches from Garner, roughly. That is Houston, Texas. From Garner, Iowa, I can make it down
to Houston, Texas. This is a Ford F-150.
You can even make it easy.
I can make it to DC in one trip.
The 2013s must have better gas mileage.
Yeah, they have the EcoBoost engines now. It's default on every vehicle now. Okay. You see a difference? That's quite the difference compared to the little Chevy Bolt versus the Tesla Model 3 versus the ridiculous Ferrari 488.
Would you pick the Ferrari or the Ford F-150 for just travel?
I'm big with Ferrari. No, for a road trip, you might have a comfortable ride with that Ford F-150. Probably got some pretty nice shocks to it, but. All right. So now I want some other cars. So Hannah, what kind of car do you get? Oh, you get the same Ford. All right. Well, easy enough. There you go. That's if you pick the big one. If you pick the smaller range, because I know the smaller range vehicle didn't have 36 gallons, it had 28 gallons. In theory, you're just in the inside of the border. You're in this range. I mean, you can make it down to Dallas. You can make it to Charleston, Columbus area, that area. You can make it to Denver. It's in that little band. That's if you pick the smaller one. Not bad. Not bad at all. Now, different cars. Cole, did you pick something different?
I picked the Bugatti.
Oh my god.
Oh, I like it. Okay.
I can't.
I'm not familiar with the Bugatti. I'm not familiar with it. It's not a car that I've ever researched other than... All right, Sue. You want the Bugatti Veyron? Chiron?
Veyron.
The Veyron? All right.
Oh, yes.
So, all right. So this is the older model, but I'm going to type it in.
I was with
All right. Bugatti Veyron. All right. I don't know if I spelled it right. Oh, right. All right. So Bugatti. It's not bad actually. 15 miles per gallon. Okay. So not bad. Now here's the problem. I don't know the size of the actual gas tank, but here's what I can tell you. It's an 8-liter engine. It's got it's twin turboed. It's actually quad turbo. It's got 16 valves. It is a monster of a car, and it's super heavy. Curb weight's it's 2 tons of car. Most cars are 1 ton, so it's almost twice the weight of a normal car. How much is that? That particular vehicle, if you buy it brand new, was I think 5.6 mil. So, to give you an idea, like the Ferrari 488 is about 250,000. The Ford F-150 is about 60-ish. You can get them new for 30, almost here in Garner. That is a little bit pricey because they only did a limited number. But okay, so let's say that this car had a 25-gallon tank. Let's just say that I know it. I think it does have bigger because it goes through a lot of fuel. But if you're going 15 miles per gallon on a highway, and you have let's go a 20-gallon tank, kind of like the Ferrari. I think it has bigger. I think it has a 30 or 35. You multiply these two numbers together, so you'll get a 300-mile range. And a Bugatti, 300 miles. Okay, so if we go back to the map, 300 miles. So 300 times the 0.75. So 300 times 0.7.5 divided by the 2441. I can travel a full inch on my map, which a full inch on this map is just past Kansas City. So you're actually making it to here. That's from Garner. And here, and here, and here, and there. Okay. There you go. 300 miles. So you're past Duluth, you're past Lincoln, you're actually past Kansas City, Topeka. You can make it to Chicago now, Indianapolis, Fort Wayne, that type of thing. St. Louis, you can actually make it in one single drive. That is if you're going highway, very smooth, because if you looked at the other rating, it also has a rating of 7 miles per gallon if you're in a city. So this is like interstate only, going 65 miles an hour and never hitting the brake and never speeding up. It's perfect wind tunnel. You better be drafting cars to make it that far. But not bad. I was not expecting that from a Bugatti. And Bugatti's made by Volkswagen. So Volkswagen works in it. All right. Next car.
Oh, God. I got a Lambo.
Lambo.
Yeah.
All right. Now, you getting the Huracan, the Colorado, the Diablo, what do you get?
Ego Vista. I don't know how to say it. Like Ego Vista.
I have no idea.
never heard this Lambo before.
It's crazy. You might recognize it.
Whoa, it's a concept car. And it is a wow, I've never heard of this. It's a 50th anniversary. That is wicked. Is it even, never even heard of this
For
car.
a brand new Bugatti, 2.6 million.
But I know they sell on the street for 5. I know that. So, all right. So, but this Lambo is actually intriguing. I've never actually heard of this car. So they named Lamborghinis after bulls. Bullfighting. All right.
Oh, cool.
Kind of a weird looking car. Here's the bad news. I don't know if this is a full-on production car because it doesn't have any reviews. Let's look here. It looks like they got something for Wikipedia, which is
That's
not
a
the
weird
best.
looking car.
Yeah, it's definitely different. It doesn't look like the Huracan or the. It is a fully functional based in Colorado.
It looks like one of those cars that
So-
comes from 0 to 200.
600 horses. Yeah, it's based on the Colorado. Now let's see if we can get fuel efficiency. I doubt it. Usually all these like high-end car makers like Lambos, all they say is that the fuel efficiency, they say it's adequate.
I was like,
That's all they put on their advertisements. How many horsepower? Okay, that took me a lot. I cannot honestly tell you. I can tell you that it's a 5.2 liter. That's why it's making 600 horses. So I would assume that it's probably getting about 20 miles per gallon based on the engine itself, but it is a V10. So
I'm pretty sure the second favorite car then.
yeah. So let's go with your next car.
It's based off of it, so it's
Okay.
Colorado.
What is it?
Colorado.
Oh, the Colorado. Okay, I'll put me. All right, we can at least search the Colorado. All right. All right, so the Colorado, we got a bunch of information about that. They don't make these anymore. They stopped in 2015. All right, so what do we got for fuel efficiency? It's got certain curb weights. It's got a manual. I don't see any other information here. What else do we get about the Colorado? There's got to be something based on the replaced by the Huracan. Let's see. Come on. It was a V12. They made a V10. It's the Murcielago. Come on. Where is the fuel efficiency? I'm going to assume it's just the same as all the others. I haven't seen any fuel efficiency on this car. 5 liter. They're going
I found the
currently.
engine.
What?
I found the engine.
What do you got for the engine?
5.2 LV10.
I'm gonna assume it's gonna be the same. It's gonna be about 20 miles per gallon because it's a 5.2 liter. The V10 worries me. I don't know if it's gonna get 20 miles per gallon. And I'll probably have a 20-gallon tank, so you have in theory a 400-mile. So that means you can make it. We go back to my map. You know what we've been doing here. Going back to the map, 400-mile range. So 400 times. So 400 times the 7.5 divided by 2, 4.1. That is 1.25 inches on a map. And now you're down to Springfield and further. So now you're down to here. Up here, and on this side, and over here, and you have a full circle. So that means you can hit Detroit.
Lambo beat the Bugatti.
It did beat the Bugatti, but it has a way smaller engine. So I would almost hope that it would beat that. But again, that's guesstimating that it has a 20 miles per gallon. I have no idea if it can even hit that fuel efficiency. Okay. Favorite vehicle?
Mustang Boss 429.
Let's think about what year is that?
1969 to 1970. Well, I guess a 1 year.
You know why they call it the Boss?
Because the engine barely fit in a regular public fit car.
And the other reason why they call it the Boss is because it was made for the boss at Ford, and he didn't want anyone knowing what they were working on. So it was a hidden code word, and they just stuck with it. So what was it was a Boss, what was the number?
429.
429. Oh, this is a good looking car.
Wait. It can get 600 or more horsepower.
Look at that. on the Shelby series. All right, 4-speed, 427 engine. Now let's see about fuel economy in this type of car. You wouldn't really care about that, but how far can it go? Use it for Le Mans, huh? All right. Where is fuel efficiency for this? It's got to be terrible. Carbon 60s can get very good.
They can get 6,200 RPMs.
Okay, so that's where it's red lined up. All right.
175 miles.
Wait, what is that? What's 175 miles?
It exceeds up to
Oh, is that miles per hour?
175 miles per hour.
Yeah. All right. Go for about 500 grams, so half a mil. All right. Well, here, let's assume that it gets about 13 miles per gallon, so those are about what those muscle cars made of top end. So 13 miles per gallon. It may have had a 15-gallon tank. Back then, they didn't have the 20 gallons. So when you actually multiply these together, you should get a number just below 225 miles. 13 times 15, 195 miles. That's guesstimating going off of previous known muscle cars, what we get for miles per gallon. So 195 miles. So that would be in that range of the Chevy Bolt, the Tesla, that range. So if I go back to my map here, we said 239 was to here. So we're looking smaller. This is 195, so it's about there. So there's your boss. That's how far you can drive. So past Des Moines. Des Moines is about 100 miles from here.
Oh, that's the.
So there's your range, hypothetically. You can go to Minneapolis.
Well,
Do that.
That's
So now,
But you gotta realize they have a
so
426 Hemi engine in a
Favorite car?
body.
truck doesn't matter.
I always like the Viper.
Ooh, the Dodge Viper. Okay, I'm going to give you a very... we're out of time. All right, so here's what I want. If you have a chance, try to finish up this model, this Tesla model. Try to figure out where you can go, what cities. I need my rulers back and calculators if you borrowed them.
Mustang Boss is a nice car.
All right, we're going to look at the Dodge Viper. We'll look at the AC.